Alright guys, I got a mic now. So what you're gonna do, so you probably didn't see how to do this, but when you get to this point, double click on your timeline. Double click on it. Then you added your float track, which by doing this, add the float track. Now you're gonna hold down shift and left click right here. Go to your time, click on it, it will highlight everything, tap 0. So you have this point at 0 and a value of 0. And now I'm just making a basic door, not with a bunch of different add-ons. It's just basic. Now shift, left click, add a second one, set the time to 1, and click on the value, set it to 1, and then go to your length up here and just set it to 1. Everything is 1. Now just compile and save. X the timeline right here. Now you're going to see this new pin pop up, and this is a float. And now the reason why it's a float, so real quick, let me explain variables real quick. So you'll see these variables down here. Macros, this, I'm focusing on variables right now. So if I add a variable and I just say door, this won't be needed, but I'm just showing you the different variables. You'll see this thing called a boolean. And if you click on here, you'll see string, name, float, integer, 64, integer, byte, boolean, transform, rotator, vector, all of that good stuff. And then there's other stuff like an actor I can get a reference to, or a door I can get anything like that. Just right click and go with that. Alright, so that's basically a variable. And this, as you can see when I hover over it, it says it's a float single precision. So this is a float. So a float is a number, but it can have decimal points. Whereas another variable that is a number, you don't create another variable, I'm just doing this to show you. So right now we have what's called a float. It's that green one right there. An integer is a single whole number. It doesn't have a decimal point. An integer is just a whole number. This can have decimal points. And that is good because our timeline has seconds. And in a second, you'll have 1.1 seconds, 1.2 seconds, so you need a float. So off your open door, we are going to type a lerp. And it's going to be under the float section lerp. And now we want to hold down Alt and left click on this. And it will just detach it. Plug our open door into our alpha of this. So the reason why we do this is because when our timeline plugs into our alpha, we can have our A and B open, so it will start off. So basically we'll have our timeline. It will start off as A, which is 0. So this is our door. It is 0 degrees, but if we want to transition to maybe 90 degrees, like a door opens, then we'll say we want to transition from this to this. 90-degree rotation. So this is basically just saying we are going to transition from here to here smoothly, not just a cut open. It's not going to just cut open. So on our new rotation, we're going to right click, split the struct pin. And now we're going to get these that turn into a float instead of a rotator, which is what that old variable was. So now we want to transition our z-axis. That's the axis that we will be rotating. Now compile and save that. So we are making a custom event that we will call later when we do something. So we will play this event when we do something later, which I will show you how to do. And then the flip-flop is also for later. It's gonna basically, the first time we do something, it will go to A, and then the second time we do something, it will go to B. So this is to open, and then this will be to close the door. And then we have a timeline, which is all set to the value of 1 on everything, just to make it simple. So it's playing the amount of time it will be to open our door. And then we made that float track transition to 90 degrees. That's how much I want our door to open. And then we'll set the rotation of our door. The target of our set relative rotation in our viewport over here is this, our SM underscore door. Well, if we go down to our variables, we see SM underscore door. That will be our target. Compile and save all of that. That's all you need in the door blueprint. Now, go to our characters. Oh, no, we don't. We go down here on this folder side. Click on third person. Double click on blueprints. And then third person character. We don't need the construction script, but if you guys are new, everything should start up here. You won't need to have stuff down here. That's just how I have my layout set up. So when you open your third person character, you are going to see nodes like enhanced input action IA underscore look, which are triggers or things like that. This is an actual event node that is default with the engine. It's called event begin play. So basically all these things will happen when the game starts. So this is just for input basically. So you'll see the engine already has this. It will say camera input, movement input, jump input. This is all stuff that is default for moving and input and all that. So we don't need to worry about that right now. So what we're going to do is right click, hit E, and then type in keyboard event. You should just get to here and then you should see E. Now this is a event. You will see it has no input nodes because this is what happens when we press E. There's nothing to trigger that. So this is E on its own. So when we press E, we want to create a line trace by channel. So basically what a line trace by channel is, it will shoot out a invisible line in our map from our player, and there's going to be more code to say what this line will do. So our starting location. So if we go up here and get to our components and we drag out follow camera, put this onto here, drag off of follow camera and get the world location. So this is where we are going to start the line trace. So we're going to get the follow camera and we're going to get the location of our camera in the world, and that's where it is going to start. So now, again, off of our follow camera, we want to get the forward vector. So we are getting the forward vector because this line trace is coming from our camera, but it could come out the side, the top. We want it to come out the front. So we're getting a forward vector that will come out the front of our camera. Now, to make this line trace project forwards at a certain distance, I'm just going to hit shift and make the star symbol for multiply. We want to multiply this by a value to make it shoot out of our camera at a certain distance. So right here with the B vector, this, if you hover over, right click on it and change this to float single precision. And now this should turn to a float, which is a number value, but it can have decimal points. So we can have, like, this line trace will shoot 250.1 units or stuff like that. So dragging off of our get world location now, again, we're going to have two outputs from this. I'm going to drag out and put a plus symbol for add. And now you'll see we are adding our world location with, oh, we need to put this back to a float single precision. So yeah, before you do that, actually, you want to add a value. We'll start off with a default value of 200. So this will shoot, the line trace will shoot 200 units from the front of our camera. And now this is going to be the end result. So the world location plus the amount of units we're shooting it out is where our line trace will end. So this is basically creating the line trace, and it's going to make it come from our camera. Now we want this line trace to do something, hit something. What will happen when we do that? So you will see this structure, hit structure. We're going to drag out of it, and we are going to type in break the hit result, breaking the hit result. So this basically gives us a whole bunch of nodes from this structured pin. And then if you want to have it all in this one thing, you can right click and split the struct pin to get all the values just straight from the line trace by channel. But I am just going to do this because it feels more organized to me. It's really important to have everything organized with your nodes. Alright, so now this is going to be a new node that I have not placed yet. You are going to hold down the B key and left click to get a branch. Plug this in to here, and a branch is a true or false node. So we could say, for example, for what we're doing right now, we are creating our line trace, and if something is blocking our hit. So first we want to check. When we create our line trace, is something blocking our hit? And then we're going to have a true or false output. So if it's false, if something's blocking our hit, we don't want the door to open, so nothing is going to happen off of our false. So leave it blank. But then if we do hit our door, we want to recognize it as our door. We want this to know it's our door. So off of the hit actor down here, we are going to type has tag. Now this is basically just to check and make sure that we are hitting our door. So go back to our door blueprint, BP_door. Click on the BP_door self in our component. Up here in the search bar, type tag. Add the tag. And just name the tag door. And now I'm just going to highlight Control C to copy it. Go back to our third person character blueprint. And in our tag right here, Control V to paste it. And now we will say our hit actor has tag. And now you'll see our return value is a Boolean. Booleans go into branches. So just create another branch the same way we created the last one. And put this into our condition. Plug that into true. And now we are going to check if this is our door by making it have a tag. So the only way we can open our door is if this has the tag. So off of hit actor again, we are going to go in front of this branch and say cast to BP_door. Drag this up here and plug it into our true. So now if this has the tag door and it is true, then we're going to cast to our door. But again, we're going to do nothing if it does not have this tag. So to the true pin, we are going to cast to our door, and the hit actor is going to be the object. So off of our cast to BP_door, we are casting to it so that we can get this specific function. So if you remember in our door, we created a custom event. We are going to now call off of as BP_door. We are going to open door. Compile and save that. And now this is how it should look. And I'm just gonna highlight everything, hit Control C, or maybe just C. Yeah, just hit C, and name this comment opening and closing door. Compile and save everything. Now go into our world again, go to our content drawer, go to our doors folder, drag out our BP_door, and put it in the world like this. Now, with our player start in the world, we're going to hit play. And you will see our door is in the world with us. And if we press, here, hold on, real quick before I do that, this is good for testing your game. Go back into your third person character and go back to line trace by channel and go to draw debug type and put for duration. Now this is only for now so that we can test to see if our line trace works. So hit play again and press the E key. Now you will see it spawns behind our character. And this is not because of the forward vector or anything at all. It is because in our third person character, if you go to it and we go to our viewport, you can see the camera is behind our character. So that means the line trace has to be longer as it has to go in front of our player. It has to shoot outwards. It has to go more because the camera is behind our player. So we can go back to our multiplication value from our forward vector and up this to 700. See if that works. Might need to put more. So now if we click this, you will see it will shoot through our player because our player is not the actor. It will keep shooting. So if we go to our door, that is right. So go out of your third person character and go into the door. Go into your BP_door, click on the actual SM_door, and you'll see all these items in the details panel. You'll see static mesh. Double click on that static mesh and you should get something like this. Yeah. Alright, sorry guys, I'm back. So we are in our static mesh of our SM underscore door. Now you'll see this kind of thing. You don't have to worry about any of this really. Go to collision up here and add a box simplified collision and hit save. Now we are basically adding a collision so that when we project our line trace, it can tell if we hit our door or not. So go onto here and project our line trace. It hits our door. As you can see, that green line, it shows our hit actor. And hit again to close it. And go through, close our door. Now hit the escape key. So we have our door open and everything, but if I play it again and I hit the door frame, it still opens our door. Now if I hit the door frame again, it closes it. We don't want this to open by hitting our door frame. That's just not convenient. So go back to the BP underscore door, go to our event graph, and you'll see, go to the, stay on our BP underscore door, stay in here. Now go to our tag where we made our tag, so BP underscore door self, type in tag, and you'll see our tag door. Hit the remove all elements or this delete icon. We don't want the tag to be on the whole door. We only want it to be on our actual door part. So go to SM underscore door and type tag. And now you'll see this is called component tags. So add a component tag and type in door. So we changed this to our component tag. This is no longer an actor tag. So that means we have to go back to our BP underscore third person character. And where we have actor has tag, delete that. And off of hit component this time. So our hit component has tag instead of actor. We don't want the whole actor to be hit. And now in our tag, we're just going to make it door like it is in our door, and then plug this into the condition, compile, and save it. So now if we go back into the game and we press E on our door, it opens it. But if we press E on our door frame, it no longer closes or opens the door, only if we hit the actual door. So that's the solution to that. Now save all of this. Alright, so this is our door that we have just made in our world. And for example, I'm just going to make a house, I guess, real quick. Just a little house. You guys don't need to create the house yet. I'm just doing it for this purpose. How? If you guys want to create the house, you can. Alright, so now if we hit play, go inside. Alright, so this is going to be the little house for the tutorial. For our game basics. So now, we are going to create a locked door function. So we will do the locked door function in a couple minutes. I will be right back. Alright guys, so we are back for the moment. We're back for the moment to create our locked door. So I'm going to show you the first step of this. So first we're going to create a new, actually we can keep it in our doors, and we can make a new folder in our doors folder called keys. And then we can go back to our content folder, right click, new folder, make one called BPI, which stands for Blueprint Interface, which is what we're going to need for our door. So open that folder, right click, and we're going to see all these options. Go to the Blueprint tab right here. In here we should see Blueprint Interface. Left click, create, and then type in BPI underscore door. Create that. And then what we have to do is create another blueprint interface called BPI underscore interact. And now you will see we have these two blueprint interfaces. So open up the first one that we made, BPI underscore door. And we are going to basically create a name for this function. And let me get a name real quick. Alright, so a good name for this is going to be pick up, make that one word, key. Now enter that. Compile, save, go back. And make this for our BPI underscore interact. Left click on that, make it interact. Compile and save it. Go back to our content drawer, into our content, in our doors, right click. Actually, we can just duplicate our BP underscore door. So right click on it and hit duplicate. And call this BP underscore door underscore locked. Oh. So now if we open this up, it will look the same because we have duplicated it. You don't need to delete those pins, I just like to do that. And now we have this everything else was. But there's a catch. This time what we want to do is make it so that we need a key to open our door. So this is going to involve our interfaces and variables. So right here in our variables, add a new one and type in has key ? Drag this in as has key, get has key. So we want to get this variable, and then add a branch by holding B and left clicking, or you can just type in branch, whatever. And now plug this into our condition. Now this really has no value yet, but we're gonna need this for our code. So a new variable called hasKey, and if this is true, if we do have our key, we are going to play this part of the code. If not, then we will just do nothing. Okay, so we still have our door opening functions and everything as it was in our door. Alright, so sorry, I'm getting a lot of messages. So currently go into your third person character, and we can copy this because it is relatively similar. So just copy that again and we can just add to our comment, opening and closing locked door. So just change the comment for our code. And remember guys, you can rewatch this if any part you are lost. So instead, we are going to still have all of this, but now we're going to delete this part of our code by dragging on it and hitting backspace. And now our hit actor. So this is going to be new. So you're going to drag off of true and type in for each loop with break. And now off of our array, it's going to be our hit actor, and it's going to convert. You'll see that right there, and it's going to make an array. So off of our array element, we are going to say does implement interface. And this interface is going to be our BPI underscore door. And then this goes into a branch to our loop body. Okay, so now we have our interface basically in. We have our interface in. We're gonna go off of true and actually off our array element and say interact. BPI interact, and then we'll say interact message. Plug this into true. And we still have our break node open for our for each loop. Put this into break and double click on this line. You'll see it kind of get bigger like you're selecting it. Double click it and drag it up to here. Compile and save that. So this is basically how we're going to interact with our door. And now we're just going to put door for a tag. Door underscore L. Just going to control C, copy that. Go back to our BP underscore door locked. Click on our SM underscore door. Type in tag. Go to our component tag and control V to replace this. And it should be here if you duplicated it. The old tag should already be there. So back to our third person character. Now we have switched this up and added our interact blueprint interface, which means we can basically connect with different blueprints just by a blueprint interface. So that's kind of our interacting portion of our part of the tutorial. Sorry, I'm getting a message. 1 second. Okay. Sorry. Go back into your content drawer, double click on keys, add a new blueprint class, make it an actor. Oh. Don't do that. We want to make a name. It's going to be called key. And double click on our key. And put in so now this is going to be a new type of thing. Alright. So you will see no events in here. Some weird reason. Alright. So over here in our class settings, up here at the top, left click on class settings. Go down here to implemented interface. So this is going to be where we add our interfaces. And it's going to be our BPI underscore interact. Compile and save that. And now we want to implement our event interact. And we are going to get we are going to create a variable down here. And it's going to be called door. And it's not going to be a boolean. This is actually going to be, we're actually going to get a reference basically to our lock door. So we're going to put our BP underscore. Did I not? BP underscore. Oh, BP underscore door. Oh. Door locked. And just left click on it so we can get our object reference to it. And we're going to drag in our door, get door, we're getting our variable, and we're going to put in our message, pick up key. And our target is our BPI door. And I'm not going to do putting this into my hand or hand socket. I'm just going to simply destroy the actor when it's done. So that's all I want to do for that. So this is basically it for our key. Okay. So yeah, this is basically it for our key. Wait, actually, real quick, go to your viewport and go to components up here and add our box collision. And I actually forgot to add the static mesh too. So in our components also type static mesh, and you'll see this one that looks like a brick with it, static mesh, and I'm actually going to hit F2 with this selected to change the name. I'm just going to name this our key static mesh. Now I actually don't have a key static mesh imported, so I think what I'm going to do is just put in a cube as my static mesh. So you're going to have a key static mesh in your game, but I'm just going to use a cube for the tutorial. I might as well shape it up a little bit though. Compile and save that now. So boom, we have our key, but yours should be a real key static mesh. Alright, so that is it for our key. So now all we have to do is go to our BP underscore door and BP underscore door locked. Go to here and delete open door. We don't want that event anymore. We're actually going to go to our class settings and add our interface, and it's going to be interact BPI underscore interact. So you'll see now it will show up in our interfaces tab. Right click on it, implement the event, and plug this into our branch instead of that custom event that we had for our door. And now we want to set this value to true. We want this to be true. So to make it, yeah, that's right. Class settings, again, we have to implement another interface. And this is going to be pick, what's our other interface? Should just be, no. You have to implement our BPI underscore door. So class settings, implement our interface BPI underscore door. And now right click on our pickup key, which is from our BPI underscore door, implement the event like we did before. And now this is picking up our key. So if we go back to our key, go back to our key, our event graph, we'll see we have our pickup key. We are calling this. So that relates into our door by saying when we pick up our key, we are going to go to our hasKey variable, hold down Alt. This is an easier way to set the value. Actually, yeah, just drag hasKey in and hit set hasKey. Plug this into our event pickup key, check it true. So we're going to set this variable to true. So that means it will set this to true right here. And we can do this. So now we compile and save. Let's see how this works so far. So we already know that this works. Alright, so I am selecting my house and my door if you guys are following along with me by hitting control on both of these, holding control on both, and then I'm holding down alt while dragging to the left to duplicate it. Now, if you guys are just doing this, you can just drag in your new door, but okay. Okay, so this is going to be our this is only for the tutorial right here. This is going to be our locked door. This is our door and our locked door. So now if we bring in our key, save, and play. So this is our door. We can just open and close it. But if we go over here, so our default value, let's check what our default value is. So go back to our BP underscore door locked. So our default value is false. Yeah, pick up key. Key. Pick up key. Yeah, door. Okay, so let's see what I've done. So go to your third person character. We are No, I do not. So we actually implemented the wrong interface. So has to be our interact interface. And this should be the only problem. There could be another one though. So that is not the only problem. So wait, let's see if our pickup key function works. I have to see what okay. So if we go back to our third person character, we have our component has tag. Delete that. That is my fault. Delete the component has tag. I forgot to delete that from our previous door. And now with our BPI interact, This should hopefully work. If not, then I'm just gonna have to troubleshoot by adding breakpoints and other things like that into my game. So we can see we have now picked up the key and can open it. Alright, so we actually have to set the key to be pinned to that door. So we will see in our key blueprint, we'll see door, and you'll see in our variables, you'll see door, we set that variable earlier. You'll see this little eyeball that it looks closed right next to it. If you click on it, it will open the eye, which basically means we can now, if we go back into our world and we left click on our key, we can see this thing called door. And now we can see pick actor from scene. You'll see it won't pick anything. BP_door. Okay, so yeah, you'll see it won't pick anything. So now go back to our lock door and right click and replace selected actors with our, hold up, need to open our BP_lock door. So I'm just gonna replace this. So if we go to our key, pick the eyedropper. As you see, we can choose this right here. We can't pick this BP_door because it's not the locked one. This is the locked one. So save. Now if we hit play, we should not be able to open this door by default because we do not have the key. But if we go over here to this, you can see that we have now hit the key with our line trace, and we have picked up our key. Now if we go over here and right and click key, now we can open our door. And now if we, here, let's just show the compatibility of this. So now if we make another key, so this key will go to this door by clicking on the eyedropper with our new key and placing it to this door. So that, all this basically does is, if we pick up that key right there, we've picked it up, and try to open this door with it, we can't. That means we can only open this door. But if we go over here to this, and pick it up, then we can open this door now. So that basically just means we can open these doors right here. Alright. So that is kind of it for the door section. A boarded door with crowbar will be in a different tutorial, but that is it for the door section of the basics. So now let's get a little bit more advanced. I know it's kind of early, but we can get a little bit more advanced with what we're doing. So go over here and go into our content drawer and right click, create a blueprint class, but here on all classes this arrow will be up. Click it so that all these show. Actually, no, don't do that. Just click on character. We're creating a character. I'm just gonna say AI_chase. So I'm not gonna make a whole AI that opens doors and does all that. I'm just gonna do the basics of an AI chasing you. So we want this AI to chase us, basically. So in our event, we are going to do event begin play. And off of our event begin play, we are going to call a node AI move to, and you'll see this. It kind of looks like a calendar right here. AI move to, and the pawn. So the pawn, we are going to get a reference to self. So basically, all this does is gets reference to self. Get a reference to self, or just type in self. That will be the pawn. So we are getting this character itself. This is the pawn. In our destination, we are going to get player character. We're going to get the so basically for our destination we want to get the location of our character. It's going to be our get player character. So instead of our destination, we're going to just right click, hit get player character. You'll see this right here under the function part right here. You'll see get player character. Plug this into the target actor. So this our AI is the self pawn right here, and this is the target actor. So now if we go to our viewport, as you see, we don't have a player in here right now. So what we'll just do is put in our sk_mannequin. Should work for this. Now go to our use animation blueprint. The animation blueprint it will use is our abp_Quinn, just because it works. And so let's just see how this works. So for this AI to actually move around the map and chase us, we need to have what's called a navigational mesh. So in this little box with the plus below it right here, quickly add to the project. Go down here to volumes and drag in our nav mesh bounds volume. And make this where you want the player to walk, or the AI. So I stretch this out a decent amount, save it, and now with the nav mesh bounds selected, hit P. With the nav mesh bounds selected, hit P, and it will make this green where he can go. So if I put a box in here, he can't walk right there. He can't just walk through the box. So see in our nav mesh. Oh, I see the problem. So he actually does not have a node to move. Get the world location. So we are actually just gonna get the world location of our, so back into the AI, we're just gonna, so, what do you want? Oh, so just create to get the world location. Let's see if that fixed our problem. Hold on. So as you can currently see, he is not able to chase us, and this could be for multiple reasons. So if I go back here, this actually is not the right mesh. So go back to your character mesh for the AI and put in skm_Manny, possibly. This could solve the issue. Oh, so all we want is the AI to move to me, which I will be right back in a second to do. Okay, so I think I may have seen a solution for this problem. So since I do not have a already made, usually when I do this I have a skeletal mesh, a custom skeletal mesh, and it's not the mannequin. So if we go to our and our content ABP underscore Manny, this is the thing that we are using. Yeah, it's right here at this part. So now what we are going to look for is, it's down here in this section right here. I can see it. So we are going to try to get the pawn, get pawn owner, and off the return value we're going to say is pawn controlled. It will be this right here, and it will have a Boolean return value. So this is just a movement problem with our animation blueprint. That is a simple and that this is a simple fix to do. So off of our and right here, so this is our should move. So should the player move? Well, we're trying to get our is pawn controlled, so we're going to do a select off of and. Instead, we are going to do a select. So this is just a different type of it's just another Boolean return, and not a branch. So our return value is going to actually go into our should move, and this is going to be our false instead of the index, and this is going to be our true. So if our pawn is controlled, sorry, I messed that up. I put this into the wrong one. So the false should actually go into here. This should go into the index, and this should go into the true. And then that should be correct. And now it should be good. There may be more that we need to do. I'm not sure yet. So now we have the player. Wait. This blueprint. Try to get the pawn owner is controlled. And now, just for the purpose so that all this works, go to our AI underscore chase. Animation blueprint will be our ABP underscore Manny. Compile and save it. Viewport, we'll see that working. And on success. There we go. So. Don't need that anymore. File and save it. So I'm just gonna delete the player's start because it will now just drop me in this part of the world. So yes, you will see he moves to us now, but there's a huge problem. He moves really fast and he does not play the animation. So if we go to our AI underscore chase, go to our viewport, ABP underscore Manny. You want it to be that one. So that is good. Go to our event graph. So his speed is too quick. So go to our, in our details with our character movement selected on our AI. We're going to get max walk speed. And I just want to Change that to about 400. We'll see how fast that is. So you'll see when he gets to us, he stops. So that we don't want him to stop chasing us. So we are going on success. Finish. Actually, we are just going to do a on success. We're just going to move to controller. It could just be our get player controller. I am just trying to test how this would work. Now that messes up our code. But if I go back into here and delete that. Okay, so he stops when he gets to us, which isn't a bad thing, but we want him to keep chasing us. So actually what we can do is put this into our event tick instead. So instead of event begin play, we can do event tick. So basically every second he will be chasing us. So when he stops, see, he will keep chasing us. And the reason this is because our event tick is what basically it happens every second. It's always updating. It is always updating our AI move 2. Everything is always being updated in our world. Alright, so that is basically it for the AI moving to us. Now, obviously, you can add the blueprint animations and all of that sorts of things, but I'm not going to be doing that today. So, now, on our AI move 2, I also want him to attack us. I want him to deal damage. So, on our add components over here, I want to add a box collision. Just keep it boxed. You'll see the box pop up. Keep the name box. Drag it out in front, kind of widen it a little bit. So basically, if the player is caught in this box, if the player is caught in the box, then it will apply damage to my player. So on our box right here, right click, add event, add on component begin overlap. In our other actor, we're going to cast to our third person character. Cast to BP underscore third person character. So we are getting our player character. And we are going to, as BP underscore third person character, apply damage. So our base damage we want to do 50. And actually what I can do, I'm going to make my own damage system, so delete that. So go to your third person character. I'm just going to close out everything real quick to clean everything up. So go to your BP underscore third person character. And we are going to kind of create a health type thing. So we are going to create a custom event, add custom event. It's going to be called deal damage. And now basically what this does is we're just going to put code in here to make me deal damage. So on our variables, we're going to add a variable. It's going to be called health and make this a float. Compile and save it. Now create another variable called max health, and it should stay as a float. And that's all we should need for right now. So now once we compile and save it, we will be able to set the default value. So our max health will be 100, and our health should also be 100. So when we deal damage, we are going to get our max health. So we are actually going to get our max health, and we are going to get health, and we are going to subtract from our max health. So I actually don't set that. So we are going to get our max health, put it into the top, and we're going to subtract our health from our max health. And we are going to then set this as our current health. So all I'm basically doing is taking my max health, subtracting my health from it, and then that's going to be setting my current health. So now if we go to our AI_chase, and we cast to our third person character, we are going to get health and basically subtract $30. Actually, no, let's just subtract 100. See what happens. So when we subtract 100, we're now going to set the health. Sorry, I have to do it from here. As VP_third person character, drag out again and set the health. Plugging all this in right here. Compile and save it. And now we are going to get out of as VP_third person character again, we are going to get our health, and we're going to check if it is equal to, if it's less than, or if it's less or equal to 0. And if this is true, then we want to die. So for testing purposes, I'm going to print string, and this string is going to say died from AI. Compile and save it. So if I enter died from AI, but if I have the AI only subtract 40 from my current health, well, it shouldn't print. See, now I died from the AI because it caught me again. But if I go the first time, I'm not dying. See, he attacked me for 40 damage once, and now I'm dead because he got me however many more times. So that is our kind of health system. But I want to actually, when I die, let's say I want to spawn in a different location. So then what I can do is off my true, set the actor location. Off of true, set actor location. And the target will be all the way back to our cast of BP_third person character as BP_third person character. That will be the target. And our new location. So the location where we want our player to spawn when we die. I'm just going to spawn my player up here. So I just want to get a reference to this location. So I'm just going to go add a box, kind of narrow it down to a point so that location is more precise. Okay, so I want my character to spawn about right here. So I'm going to go all the way up here with this box selected. This is only to get a reference of the location. So on location, right click and hit copy. Then go back into the AI_chase and you'll see new location, drag out of the new location and promote this to a variable. So you should drag out up at the top, promote to variable, and all this basically does is turn this into a variable, which we can see in the variable panel down here. So now compile and save it so you can set the default value down here in the details with the new location selected. And you'll see new location at the bottom under default value. Right click and paste, and it will paste our location into here. So this means AI is chasing me. Can't go through the box because of that barrier. Boom, I died from him. I spawned up there. Now, you may not want him to attack. You may not want him to attack us as soon as we get out of the box, you know? You might want to have a delay of however many seconds. So, after a delay of, let's say, so go into here, hold down D and left click to bring in a delay, and plug this into here, in between here, and set this to 0.5 after 0.5 seconds. So, and also, so maybe we want to print our health instead. So just so we have a better representation, go into your content drawer, new folder, health_UI. It's going to be the name. Go into here and right click, user interface, widget blueprint, user widget, health_UI. So what we have this for, I spelled health wrong, make sure you spell it right. So in here, search palette, we're going to add a canvas panel and drag it onto this grid, compile and save it. So the goal of this is to basically print our health on the screen. So what we can do is get our text. We can get a text, put it down here, and I'm just gonna size it up a little bit. And now currently I'm just gonna anchor it right here, the bottom lower part of our screen, and this is basically gonna print what our health is. Now obviously this is gonna be a very basic way to do it, but just so you know, there is a better way to do it. So you will see oh yeah, I forgot to tell you. So click on the text block, and on this text part it will say bind. Click it and create and bind the text so that we can get this, and it should look something like that. So now with our get text, we are going to come down here to our variables, add a variable called character ref, and basically we are just going to make this a BP_third person character. So this is just an object reference. We are getting a reference to the player. So get the character ref and drag off of it, and we are going to get health, and we are just going to get the health because it's from our character, and this variable is inside our character's blueprint, and then drag health into here, and we will basically just do to text. And now if we go to this thing right here in the world, open level blueprint, and on events begin play, we're going to type in create widget. And the class will be our widget that we just created. I spelled health wrong, but it's health UI. And our return value we are going to add to the viewport. So we have created our health UI, binded our text so that it will print our health, and then we are adding the widget on event begin play to our screen. So if we play, oh, I forgot to do another thing. Go back to our BP underscore third person character, or our AI underscore chase, and if this is also less or equal to true, we have to set our, so we have to go down to our as BP underscore third person character again and drag out of it up to here and say set health. And now basically all we are going to do is set the health back to 100 after we die. So this is my own health system. So now you'll see if we go back down here, we won't die as soon as he touches me again. He'll have to get me a couple more times. Okay, so that is working. You can also delete that little cube reference. We won't need that any longer. So we can see that our text is not printing our value onto the screen. So what we actually want to do is we want to, I think what I've done wrong is we are not getting the current health. So I think we have to set the health. I think it has to work like this. I could be wrong though. Health, and then, oh yeah, we have to drag out of here, type in get health. Boom. Now if we apply. So that is interesting. It does not seem to be printing our health onto the screen. And that's what we want. So, we want to get our health. Go to our health. Just 100. Get value. Let's see if this prints correctly. Okay, so this is not printing correctly. What I want to happen is I want our health to print onto here. So I have our AI underscore chase, BP underscore third person character. I have our health set to 100 and the max health also set to 100. Delete the deal damage code, actually. We should not need that. And we're going to get the print it. Let me check. Okay, so for some weird reason, the health is printing as 0. Our event graph, event construct. Character reference. I'm gonna try this a different way. Real quick, so I'm just gonna delete my I'm gonna remove my binding off my text block. And I'm gonna check the is variable on my text block. I'm gonna try this a different way. Go to the graph, and on event tick down here, we are going to get the health and set the health. Set. Everyone set. Oh yeah, that is right. The health, and now we are going to log, and we are going to set text. Text should be see if that works. So it is still showing up as a 0. So I don't know exactly the problem that is happening with that one, but we do have a damaged system, and it does kill us and spawn us up there when our health is at 0. Alright, I'll figure that out in a different point in time, but once again, I'm doing this stuff off the top of my head of my knowledge, so I wouldn't expect it to be everything to work out perfectly right now. So yeah, that is basically, I don't have the UI to show your health, but I can make the AI move and kill you and spawn you in a different location. And make locked doors, and I'm gonna make a boarded door one soon. I'm getting close to figuring that one out, but that should be it for the first basic tutorial. I will see you guys in the next one.